Hello, and welcome to our wonderful Kids on Brooms game, Dark Recess with the Magic Ghoulies. Today, two of our Magic Ghoulies will be out, so we will be joined by our wonderful players here. But before we start, I am Maz, your GM, for this wonderful campaign for year 1 of Dark Recess. I am so excited to say that though we were nominated for like incredible awards, one of the ones that we didn't see was that I didn't realize that we were on was Outstanding Fantasy, which is so cool. So I am, even though like we were like with other incredibly cool, talented like TTRPGs and APs, I'm just really proud to represent all of you guys and Starcrawl for the WebFest, because to see that and to see us also be there for cover art and character art and things like that was insanely cool. Ooh, the bags look even better live. Thank you. This was impulsive move and I am committing to it now. I can't, Tokyo, get out of here. No, I'm kidding. But if you all are part of the production Discord, there is a live stream chat that you can hang out with and do live stream things with. That even the players have made like memes and things that are really funny and cool, which are incredible. But yeah, I'm Maz, 𝐌𝐶𐀊𐌗, your GM. I'm gonna toss it over to Amelia.
Hello, I am Shamazon on everything. My friends and people that know me call me Shawnee. I'll be voicing Amelia Vile this evening. We both use she, her pronouns. Lots of things going on. Super excited for everything we have. Ready for the next Domlet appearance for sure. Missing our friends that aren't here today, but ready to get into it. And then I will go ahead and hand it off to Odette.
Hello, I'm Paige. I hate Paige WTF on pretty much everything. I will be voicing Odette today. I am very excited to not get my ass kicked. And also maybe pet somebody. Some kind of familiar. I don't know what yet. We'll figure it out. My pronouns are any. Odette's are she, they. Woo! And Cora.
Alright, it's a me.
It's
hi,
a me.
It's a me. I'm Nay. I will be playing our resident emotional support goblin, Cora. Both of our pronouns are she, her, and I am just so ready for D&D, you guys. I love the fact that we have breaks between sessions, but boy howdy, have I missed you guys. I'm so ready to get into it.
Let's go.
Let us go. Right to the trailer. So we will see you guys back in 1 minute.
I love that.
All right. Let us step into the veil between worlds, where The winds of magic are stirring in the halls of 𝙀🐀 Academy. I will say right now, the air outside is... It's coming into February. You are in the middle of the end of winter. There are little peaks of grass blades like in the snow that just trying to come out, but they don't know yet. There are days where there's snowfall and there are days where there's sunlight. And there are days where it feels like the winter is still going on. Teachers are muttering in the halls saying, when will the children get outside so they can get, fresh air, and also because they're stuck inside a castle. There are staff members hurrying around, either lighting more fires in the fireplaces, casting magic on the crystals that are going to going from like hallways, any stretches of area that the crystals could obscure and cover. There are more club meetings, just students sitting around because of that feeling of, stuck. However, the Ghoulies, you haven't been stuck. The school kind of knows of your recent escapade, kind of know what you've been up to, so they've kind of avoided you a little bit. A lot of students have been murmuring, talking. You've noticed that for a couple of weeks. Some of them see Dominic and Miles as part of this group, or they have a spectrum of emotions related to it. You were just found outside. For what reason, we don't know. They don't understand why. Some of the older students, especially the ones from the Ethics of Arcane class, were either annoyed that you actually went outside. They were kind of questioned too. Some of them were like teasing in a way, saying like, oh, I can't believe they actually went there. They believed a story. What have the Ghoulies been up to? Be anywhere you want.
Just kind of poking her in the shoulder, being like, "What do you want to do today?"
She's gonna pull the old SpongeBob and Patrick and go, "I don't know. What do you want to do today?"
Cora, understanding this reference, would bounce it right back to her. Is, "I don't know. What do you want to do today?"
Amelia is sitting across from them on the other couch, reading a book about herbology and magical maladies and treatments, would just like do a light sigh and glance over her book at them bouncing back and forth, and then go back to reading.
Guys, I'm bored. We should do something. I mean, I know that we got in trouble recently, but I mean, there's still lots of stuff to do in the school that's school sanction.
That's a big word for Elmo. I like it.
You see Quinn kind of strumming, like going through magazines of different fabric and cutout dolls that they could make to make like sample dresses, and they are seated on the rug next to you, but on their stomach with their legs like kicked out, kind of going through and twisting like a curl, kind of they're like, I'm bored. And Rania is in the corner with like their wand in their hair, and you see Sid kind of like chirping out to the window. They're in another book, kind of already halfway through it, and it looks to be a like fantasy or fiction book.
Rania, what are you reading? What's it about?
About someone who did some magic. I don't know. The story is very complicated. I don't know where it's supposed to go. The heroine is like in this scene, and then she's like fighting someone here, and then drives to the other end of the country here. I don't know. The author really needs to redo this book. Not keeping my attention.
Dang. If a book doesn't get just an absolute shining score, I'm definitely not going to read it if Ronnie is not digging it. We could go to the library and see if we can find anything on the stone.
That's a good idea. I mean, it's been on my mind lately ever since we went out there. So it's a safe, school-sanctioned activity. And
See,
also
look at that. And we'll be in the library. We don't have to do anything dangerous. That's like where they want us to be.
Yeah, I'm on board. What about you?
I'm down.
I'm down. Let's go.
Before we go, I want to ask, where is the Emberstone shard hiding right now, or staying right now?
Amelia?
She still would have had it in her bag. She probably would have taken it out of her bag and hid it in her room somewhere in the dorm, as they don't really have a ghoulie room yet.
What is protecting it? You know, the last time you touched it, or when you're maneuvering it around, there's this feeling of like tingles on your fingertips. There's emanating power in this that could, like, it's obvious to you. So if it's obvious to you and the ghoulies, it could be to anyone else. Is there anything protecting this, covering this? Anything you would have done yourself?
Wrapped it up in a couple of blankets before hiding it away. I imagine it's hidden in like the bottom of one of her like clothing drawers, like the very bottom, just like wrapped up in a bunch of different like blankets and clothes, and just trying to be as hidden as possible.
And
But
all
other
the
than that, I
ghoulies
don't
know
think
of
that they
this?
Yeah, I would imagine that we would have had to have talked about it whenever we came back.
Okay. Just
Group
good
agreement.
to know.
Group agreement.
Great. The room around you, there are a couple other older students who are kind of also finishing up projects or classwork. You've had a couple of assignments from your recent classes, but they're nothing compared to like older older students or upperclassmen's kind of work. So they, you're not as busy as they are with their like 3-hour classes compared to yours. So it's a pretty easy kind of leaving this room without notice. However, as you all are kind of the Magic Ghoulies, the group that was out there, you notice a couple of students kind of like hunched over, kind of muttering to themselves as you leave.
And Cora would definitely be mindful of this and kind of she'd feel a little bit of embarrassment knowing that the incident from the other night was more of a well-known secret around the school and a topic of conversation.
Yeah, Odette would make like her lips would flatten, like when you're like, She's not gonna say anything, but she's definitely gonna make that face and like look back in front of them while walking. It's still kind of a sensitive subject for her. Oh god, I heard myself.
That was me, and I apologize for that. Okay, then from here, you walk through the hallways. Quickly, you see people walking around, same security. A couple of you, when you come back to like the main area from the towers, as you're coming down from sitting, you can pass by the dining hall and the notice board, and you see one of the staff members kind of stop you, Odette, and hand you what looks to be like a kind of a crane with its wings like tucked away, and they look to you and she's like, Miss Asteria, this came for you, but I did not know if I should send it up.
Odette's gonna furrow her brows a little bit and just go, I'll take it.
Great.
Thank you.
There's also another one that was it's the address to the 5 of you, but didn't know to hand this off as well. Did you all want to take this? And they have another folded crane that's like, you see it's like paper wing kind of like shaking, and then noticing the 5 of you take flight to where you are.
I guess that's our answer.
Great.
Thank you.
Then, of course, that's in your care. So check off my list. Great. Have a good day. And
You too.
they, in their robes of Cicene, purple and green, they kind of cast something with their wand, and you see like a fluttering, it looks like a little buzzing fly kind of buzzing around their head before they're muttering to themselves, and they walk off trying to get their parcels to other people who don't have destinations or confused with their destinations. So you can see them pull out a package and things and hand it off to students. You guys walk to the library. Rania, of course, is incredibly excited. You can see them kind of like like giddy on their footsteps because this is their home. Quinn has brought their like magazines with them, and the library is pretty quiet. There's a lot of students who either come here to pick out something because they're bored, or those students who are just very, very, focused on getting good grades, sleeping on books. It's a humdrum of activity, so you could see the librarians kind of putting things back on the shelves. A lot of them are ghosts, so you can see them kind of phase through the shelves to come to the other side and put something up. Yeah.
Odette's gonna
You
pick a
guys-
table that has the comfiest chairs. Like, wherever like the nice comfy squishy chairs are near maybe a fireplace or a window, that's where she would be heading.
Amelia would head to where like books on crystals were at to try to find something about the Emberstone Shard.
Cora would be following Amelia in to aid in the search for a book, because 2 sets of eyes is better than 1.
So, to start that, I wanted to ask, before you get into the books, what are you looking for? And if you all are looking for different things, let's start one by one. Are you looking into research on the shard, the protectors, the sisters, or Esther? Those are like options, and tell me what you all are trying to research for, and we can do a rolls or see what that looks like. Or we can ask like the people around you too.
Cora would be looking for story like myths and legends books, in hopes that it references something. Like, she's kind of looking at a broad spectrum. Like, if it references like a magical crystal stone, or it mentions something about the sisters, that's her goal in looking at legends of
imagine
old.
just anything relating to what's been currently happening. Anything that would be like even remotely close to eye-catching.
Eye-catching. Give me one thing. Give me one thing so everybody can have like a focus. So, Cora, you would like to do one more time what one thing that from that Cora would be interested in? The school, or sorry, the shard?
Cora would be researching the sisters, I think,
Sisters.
as opposed
Cool.
to the Ember Shard, knowing that Amelia was heading towards the crystal section, figuring that, you know, they could split up the focus and cover more ground.
Yeah, I would be looking for a book on the shard itself and just how it relates to the school, any sort of information regarding it. And I would also look for a second book about how anything relates to the school origin, anything like that, because I saw Odette follow us in and did not see her come to help us find a book for herself. And it was her idea to come, so she's got to help us research too. By force of nature. And this is like what I'm telling Cora, like, how is she gonna tell us to come to the library and not come help us find books too? I swear, all she wants to do is pet animals. I'm finding her a book.
Well, you know, you just hand it to her and you say, "Happy birthday! Here's some research to do," and she'd snicker as she continued to look for the right book.
Amelia would giggle at the happy birthday joke and would just be running her finger along the books trying to find anything relating to it.
Odette would have sat down. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to tell you what she's doing?
Yeah, I was laughing, so I missed what Amelia wanted to do. Did I take my medicine today? I will have to go take my medicine. But yes, I would love to hear what Odette has.
Sorry, Amelia, repeat what you said real quick.
Amelia would have laughed at the happy birthday joke and would just be running her hands along the books, like eyeing titles and different covers, trying to find something.
What is it, one specific thing that you would like to research?
Just the Ember Shard itself. I went to like where the crystals would be and like natural substances, so.
And do. Cool. Now Odette.
Odette would have sat down at one of the chairs and started trying to like gently unfold the origami to try to see like what its deal was. The one for her, not the one for the 5 of them.
Great. The one for the 5 of you is sitting at the center with its hand, like little wings, kind of unfurling and kind of preening itself. The origami crane in yours unfolds, and you see your father's handwriting. He pretty much states that he's coming up for a visit later on this week as the bi-monthly visits continue, and if you need anything from home that you would like. He also wanted to check in if you have been feeling all right, or if you've had any I don't know, in the last couple of weeks, anything of concern.
Do I just write it back on this specific note and the crane will fold back up? Or do I need to do something specific different?
You can get special paper that has a new message to send out to them. You can answer on this note, but it folding back up and flying again, the magic is not as strong.
Okay.
It's like reusing a envelope that has like postage and everything already. You kind of are putting stuff on top of that.
I got you. So should I just put that back in my bag for now and then?
It's up to you. You can write on this. It will get there.
Yeah, I just meant like for a brand new one.
Yeah. Everyone should have 1 or 2 of those. The school doesn't really like hide those. And if you've and you can tell me like hey, could I have gone to the village in the last couple of weeks to get extra, or has anything happened in the last couple of weeks regarding my visions, things like that. Like we can roll to see that, or maybe something, you can tell me if something has happened that you would like to tell him.
I would like to think that after the big emotional thing that maybe her visions haven't been as loud. Maybe it's because she's been in a more of a fragile mental state, and so they show up for small things but not big things.
Great. I can say that you've had a couple of different visions. One, you've had a vision, little tiny things that are happening in your school. You've seen Miles and Ethan and Mason kind of playing a game with Leo, and Miles has broken a window in the castle.
Oh.
There is another, from this point on, this has not happened. So you don't know if it's going to happen, you just know you've seen that. And a couple other ones, you've seen a staff member to misplace something, put something in the wrong way. You've heard one or two staff members do this. You know their face. They are very tall, almost gangly, 6'1", 2, very skinny, and they're like new on the job. And then a couple other things with the security team that they're like new postings or something like that. You've seen one or two of them muttering in like a hallway or two, smoking like a cigarette or something outside, kind of annoyed that they have to be on this patrol before Arendor comes and like, and they like stand up and like in attention and get back to their post. But those are the visions that you've seen in the last couple of weeks. Nothing too big, just as you said. That is your note. I'm going to quickly go to Cora. Cora, could you roll me... actually, if you're going to look for books specifically, roll me a brains. If you want to do other things like talk to somebody, ask a ghost, librarian, get to the restriction section, anything like that, let me know.
Actually, yes. Cora would be looking for a book, and everything in the particular section that she's looking for just kind of seems like general knowledge as she's skimming through the books. So she'd kind of like eye over at the restricted section, pondering to herself whether or not those books would hold any greater secrets than what she has access to here.
I will give this to you. The general knowledge tells of the two sisters growing up till a very old age. One sister, around the time of their 40s, what they would be their 40s, warlocks and witches in this realm, they can live to very long age. So a lot of your teachers, a lot of people, they also can live in other realms. They can be other beings. They can, become druidic creatures. There's so much wealth of knowledge and magic. Seeing, I guess, a young witch is kind of something of the past. So from the general knowledge, you know that one of the sisters, Cressida, was, well, I don't know if it was Cressida. One of the sisters who was more in tune with divination and seeing ability, they, in their 40s, was weakened by such magic that they were they had a shortened life span. So their care was taken over by their other sister for a while. The school started with all these new students who came to the school. The first ever were like parents, people who wanted a place for their children to study. And the general knowledge talks about how over the years there's been a lot of different prophecies, stories, years and years of stories of the founders, and that when they were entombed to protect us all. So their kind of location for their resting place is unknown. That's like general knowledge. That's what you would find in the books. To get into the restricted section, you would need like a permission slip. You can talk to the ghost librarians to convince you of that, if that's what you wish. Or how would you like to get there?
Can you kind of like describe the scene of who all is in the library and sort of around the restricted section, and what sort of defense mechanisms they have in place to stop students from going there without permission slips?
Restricted section looks like a portion of the library, usually on every typical day. Like that looks like there are only few students are there, and they're older. Professors, teaching assistants, who are like working for the older classes, the classes that, they need more time for studying. And there are a couple of librarians, ghost librarians, kind of sitting at the main desk, and that gate that you all went through a couple of times before is locked. And behind that is like a set of stairs that go to all the restricted section bookcases and shelving, right? You see a couple of librarians put stuff away. They're kind of on their at their desks, writing like inventory. They're focused. A couple students come up to them. You can see them have like a permission slip. They look at the permission slip. They get to the door, allow the student in, and close the gate behind them. Other than that, other than the one or two librarians there, it's not really a big section where all the students are.
Okay. Cora knows herself, and knows herself well enough to know that this, as much as she is tempted to just walk into the restricted section, she probably is going to need a permission slip this time. They had just gotten in trouble. She doesn't want any more trouble. So she is going to turn to somebody who is better at convincing adults than she is, and will walk up to Odette and just kind of eyeball her, and tap her toes together and just fidget, and be like, so I have an idea, but I need help. I want to go into the restricted section of the library, but I don't have a good reason to go into the restricted section of the library. So can you help me convince one of the ghost librarians to let us in there for research?
Odette is probably like sitting on the floor, like writing out the letter back to her dad, and she's just gonna slowly look up and be like, absolutely.
Cora would do like a little like fist in the air. Be like, yes. Okay. So I don't really have any sort of ideas. So I mean, whatever you gotta say, to get them to let us in, I am on board.
Ooh, okay, let me brainstorm. We could say it's for something for my abilities. Maybe pull something about like looking for other seers and stuff to see their maybe biographies? I don't know. Would that be in the restricted section?
I'm not all that sure I really know what's in the restricted section, but I mean, that's as good as any idea that I've come up with. So, yeah, let's do that. You know, tell them that you are doing some extra curricular research to try and help you control your vision seeing powers, and some biographies from great seers would help you accomplish that if they have it in there.
Yeah, maybe we can just say that I'm looking for other things about seers in general before I go talk to have that conversation with Professor Brackwell.
I'm on board with this plan.
Both of you get up to, go to that area of the library. Amelia, you're in between the shelves and you're looking for information on the Emberstone Shard. What are you looking for? Is there any section that you're looking for? If you want to roll a brains to see where the best information would be, you can do that. An 8. Totally doable. In the general area of information, there's a section of history, magical items, or magical artifacts, or links, like something else that would link to you'll see like a biography section, and that section has like the words like protectors. So all of those things connect to the shard. Is there anything that you would like to go first?
Yeah, the protectors. I would love to just grab a book about learning more about being a protector of the wall and what all we kind of signed up for when we said those riddles earlier.
Yeah. So you find a couple of tomes that talk about the biographies of protectors of the wall. The wall is a symbolic gesture. There is a tome that I'm going to share to you on alchemy that has the whole thing, but it clearly states that when the realms first came together and there was magic pouring from each side, the reason that there is a wealth of magic is because the realms work together. And hundreds and hundreds of years later, the rhythm of magic flows in between the realms. It's all the different realms have different rules on how magic works, right? The demonic realm, you've learned, has a set amount of power, and that is it. And they have to continue their lineage. The arcane realm is based on weaving. The celestial realm, it talks about magic that is ever expanding or can instantly crunch, like a big bang or the big crunch if like all the planets came together in one big boom. And the shadow realm, where magic there is fleeting. Power can grow within moments and disappear within the next. So when the realms are, I guess, coordinated together, there's more wealth of magic everywhere. The protectors, noted in this book, at a time where one realm was threatened, there needed to be protectors on the wall or between realms. So it's a symbolic word. And the tome talks about 2 or 3 of them. You notice Alaric, the effigy's ghost, and him in a portrait that's like painted. How he was one of the first few who recognized that at one time there was going to be a return of a being of intense power. They have so much magic and a wealth of it that if they were to return and get a grasp of this world that touches all these realms, they could destroy it. They could take over. They don't know what they would do, but it doesn't spell out good. And the protectors were brought together to build up the wall and protect it between our realm and the realm of the dead.
After finding that, she would go back to try to find out where Odette and Cora were sitting at.
Was there anything else you wanted to do other than like magic? Because that one is the protectors of the wall. I just want to make sure, did you want to do anything with the magical artifacts or history of the shard?
Oh, the Emberstone, yeah.
Oh, I would also like the history, if possible, before going back. I actually think that I probably would have grabbed, like, upon finding any of them, I would have grabbed them all without reading them and taken them to the table that Odette and Cora were, where Amelia thought that they were sitting, and is soon to be finding out they are no longer there.
I will put this in, I think I can put this in the messages on alchemy, but the one thing you found on the Emberstone shard is this library book that's older than old. Like, it is cracking at the ends. It is bound together by the librarian's handiwork, like to make sure that people can still read out of it. And it has a history of old magic, and the Emberstone shard is also known as the Protector's Relic. It's known to be missing. It hasn't been found. The last known holder of it was an old family that was adamant about protecting the last known bastion of magic, which is 𝙀🐀🐐 Academy. And it has the etching of the shard. I don't know how to do this in alchemy, but let me see if I can do it really quick on the screen. Okay, I guess not. But anyway, you have the handouts in alchemy if you wanna see it. It has this powerful shard pulses with a warm, fiery light. It's said to be one of the few remaining relics capable of defending against the return of the harvest. The harvest is noted to be a prophecy stated by seer, and then has like a name that's kind of very old to read out. Many seers have seen this. A lot of stories have said about the founders of 𝙀🐀🐐 Academy, but none have been verified to be true aside from divine magical prophecies. The shard's magic can be accessed only by those who deemed worthy by the protectors, former students who sacrificed themselves to seal away the ancient evil. The shard is hidden, the last known story of its last location before the family, and like the family name is kind of like etched away. It was known to be buried with the sisters, rumored beneath their very tombs, protected by enchanted wards and forgotten knights. Some scholars say that the sisters themselves were entombed underneath the school. But beware, reader, the magic within the shard is volatile, so a lot of this information is, well, not verified. It is said to have power to both save or destroy if wielded without caution. And then it goes into this blurb about how the scholars have gone back and forth saying if it was buried with the sisters and if it was the sisters were buried underneath 𝙀🐀🐐, that's there's no way that would work, because if it's a volatile substance, then the castle would have gone off very few times. Like the prophecy, they thought the prophecy was happening like this year, like the next year that they thought the prophecy was happening and the return of the harvest will happen. And then a couple of scholars talk about how wielding this and using this power for the protectors, you can use it to sacrifice a great amount of power to build enhance the wall or strengthen it when the time is needed.
Sorry, and what was the last one?
That was history, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, I did magical artifacts. I'm sorry. That was magical artifacts. I'm going to mix in some history. The last thing that they knew about the shard was the family. The last name was, I'm going to say, what you can read out of it was Armadeus, Armadium, something in that way. And the family was the last ones who hold it for years, as like their mission, their family motto was to protect the last bastion of magic, which is the 𝙀🐀 Academy. The history of the stone is that it was imbued with blood magic and a sacrifice that helped create this magical item that in the right hands, could be something useful. In the wrong hands, it can just be this untapped source, just sitting there in like amber, holding like life, like Jurassic Park, where like that amber held that like mosquito. Like there's something untapped in there.
Okay. After finding all of this, she would gather the three of them to go back and show Amelia and Cora what she found. Rounding the corner, she does a look at the table where she last saw Odette and no longer sees her or Cora. And very just confused, she looks around the library to try and find them.
You'll see them kind of walking towards the restricted section. Do you join them?
Yeah, she sees them and she just... Here we go again. And she just kind of drops her head down carrying the tombs and scrolls and the book, and she just kind of trudges her way to them.
You see Regulus sitting on the chair and kind of snoring away. He has not left Odette's side, even for these couple of weeks, and he's kind of weary, so he's kind of falling asleep. But he takes wing seeing you like join up to them, and comes to Odette's shoulder to kind of land on. Ozzy, that is in your braid around your neck, Cora kind of mutters outside, like, what are we... Here we go again, in the same way that Amelia thought it. What are you two doing? And there are a couple of teachers around. Are you going up to... we want to talk to one?
I think we're going to talk to one of the ghost librarians for the special pass into the restricted section.
I mean, but we could also go up to a teacher.
That's true.
And get their permission.
I mean, they'd probably be sitting there debating what is the best option to talk to. And upon hearing that, Cora would be like, yeah, no, it might be best to go with the teacher. I have a feeling that the ghost librarians are probably even more strict.
That's what I feel like, at least.
Oh, there's a ghost librarian in front of you who is just like humming away at their desk and kind of putting like stamps on books and putting them away. They have like a light red hair that's kind of tucked back into braids, and their skin is like deep honey. They even in their ghostly form, you can see their skin tone, everything is kind of muted because of their corporeal ghost form. The other one is kind of at the back of the circular desk area, kind of putting things away. They seem just, not bothered, but seeing you all kind of standing there, they kind of look up from their glasses like, can I help you?
Odette's gonna look up and be like, hi, I wasn't sure how to go about this, but I was wondering if there was any way that we could go into the restricted section so that I could look up some stuff about seers and stuff. before I go have a conversation with Professor Brackwell. I'm part of the 𝐌𝐻�10 family, and I'm still really young and trying to, like, learn about stuff, and I was hoping I'd be able to get more information about it.
Was this put in today? I don't see you on here.
No, I wasn't sure what all needed to be done. I wanted to come and talk to you and see what I needed to do that.
Of course, let me give a ring to Professor Brackwell and see if they have the give me a charm roll, and he just like mutters, let me see if they have that permission in order. They kind of like their faces just like, of course, that makes sense. Totally. Yeah, Stereo family, you are the family that, you know, sanctioned the seer tower of the castle. Of course, yeah, that makes sense. So they have the phone to their ear and you're like, oh, hello, and it's you can see that this is only in certain areas of the castle. It's like it looks like the origami trains, but it's like only in this castle and only in certain rooms and only for like certain areas, like main rooms, like library to certain things. And they're talking to this origami crane that kind of stretches out, and it looks like a seagull kind of like reaching out its wings like outward and opening its mouth. And they talk to it. Professor Brackwell, Yes, this is the library. Of course, we are. Yeah, I'm sorry, Professor Brackwell. I know you're in the middle of calculations. Yes, ma'am. Of course, I just wanted to understand. I just wanted to know if Miss Odette Asteria, they wanted to access the restricted section. They said it was related to their seer training with or seer ability with yes, no, but yes, it is both possible but not possible. Of course, I know. I totally know what that means. Yes. So they are allowed? They haven't asked yet, but they will ask. I do not understand. They're both happening at the same time? You're... Okay. And then she like turns it off, and you see the large thing kind of go back into this like dormant position, and they turn to you and he says it's both possible and not possible, that you've ordered it and not ordered it. I'm not sure, but I think from what I could hear from her that you're allowed to go in. Yes, here. And then she gets up from her chair, floats on over to the gate. You see on her side, there's like this code system that's going off to code. She waits for a moment, inputs that code, and it unlocks and lets you all in.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry for the confusion.
Oh, no worries. It's bound to happen. Professor Brackwell he's a lot, and sometimes I no worries. Tell me if you need anything, and kind of goes back to their seat.
Okay, thank you. Well,
you are all in the restricted section now.
Or would let out a big honking sigh of relief as they enter the restricted section.
Maz, on this, I know you say pick like one or two things to go after. I would actually like to look up something seer related, but also Hester related if possible.
Done. You go into certain areas, there are like librarians in that area, so you would have to do a flight check to avoid them, especially anything Hester related. The seer related can do. Give me a brains check for that. And for everyone else, what would you guys like to research?
Cora is once again going after books about the sisters.
Amelia would be looking for books on how the Ember Shard was created, knowing that it came from like a sacrifice and was imbued with possibly blood magic.
Cool. Let's start with Cora really quick, and then we'll come around to Odette. You find yourself in a long stretch of old books, a lot of them caged behind glass. A lot of them have wards on them, and tomes that are so big they have like their own stacking, and even the librarians that help put them there, you know that they take like 3 or 4 or even magical ability to pull them out of the shelves. Alright, just answering something really quick. You find a couple of tomes that talk about the sisters and their relationship. There's one that notes of a story of these two sisters, and from what you can remember, that Odette saw that vision from that little doll in the ruins. It has that same story like element, but there is a portion of it where it talks about a time where there was another convergence. You've learned over a course of like a couple of cosmic fascination classes that a convergence is when the planets are lined up. When that happens 2 or 3 times a year, magic ability is just heightened. So every year there is an astral convergence. However, when there is an astral convergence and certain things are in order, let's say like sigils are broken, and someone does a really good spell at the time of astral convergence, then you know that, well, Hester could return. That's kind of been the continuing things that you guys have learned, right? So the book says, in the final hours of the eclipse convergence, when the veil between worlds was at its thinnest, Pandora and Cressida, the founders, stood before the great abyss of death, knowing what must be done. Hester, a lich lord of unspeakable power, as it was said, had already begun to tear apart the fabric of the mortal realm, feeding on the souls of the living and raising an army of the dead. Sisters, though mighty in their own right, knew that their combined magic alone would not be enough to stop them. It was then Pandora, the elder of the two, made the first great sacrifice. Her immortality. As a result of her immense arcane power, Pandora had woven spells into her own essence, ensuring she and her sister would live beyond the boundaries of normal life. But to bind Hester, Pandora had to give up her agelessness, and in doing so, she anchored part of her soul to the mortal plane forever, forming the first sigil. And Cressida, the younger, offered up something just as precious. Her memories. The memories of her childhood, of the bond they shared, and of all the love and light they had experienced together. By giving this up, Cressida created the second sigil, which bound Hester to the realm of the dead. Her mind deteriorated, and her power slowly faded. Along with the warmth of their connection, the foundation of her heart, all erased. But the sacrifices weren't enough. They needed to imbue magic into it. There was a threat to the sisters' plan. They had made a deal. With Hester a long time ago for access to this magic. And the students they teach was prophesied to be the cost that he will reap. In breaking that, in offering up their magic abilities, their memories, their immortality, they broke the deal and sealed him behind the third, bound by their blood and their magic. The price they paid was not just their sacrifices, it was the future. If the sigils were ever to be broken, the sister's sacrifice would be undone. And Hester would return stronger than before. And with him, the souls of all those tied to their magic, including every student they would ever teach.
And just for my edification, outside of game, that includes all students in the future, because it's not just them who personally teach; it's the school itself, right?
You could, from the metaphors and the prose that they have, yeah, you can see that they have that phrase they would ever teach.
Okay, got it. Oh, that's some heavy stuff. Seeing this as more of an important clue, Cora would close the book and begin walking over to Amelia and Odette.
Amelia, where are you looking for information in this restricted section?
Something on how the Ember Shard was created, with the blood magic, or is the sacrifice her immunity, or I mean her immortality? Was that what that was earlier?
You see a couple of different tomes. They have like other languages, so to translate this, give me a brains check, or to understand like the translation. They do have translated versions like next to it. Okay, so I guess Rania is busy reading because Amelia is here.
Damn.
Rania's on break, so new manager's in. My goodness.
She just lent me her brain for the day, I promise.
Let's see. Give me a second for my brain to just think of the words. Okay. Wow. When the sisters Pandora and Cressida made their sacrifices to bind a dark entity of that time to the realm of unknown reaches, it was stated by scholars and historians of that age that the magic that they used was ancient and dangerous. They had tapped into the realms all around without any precaution or hold as we have now. Currently we have laws, managements, wardens that make sure that magic is transferred between realms in a equal way, noting the use of magic can harm certain realms if we use too much. But the founders a long time ago didn't have those rules, and no wardens were set in place long time ago. The shard is one relic of a time where magic had no bounds. It is a fragment, historians say, of a sacrifice of their souls, entwined with the binding spell itself. This sliver of their combined essence acts as a tether to the realm of the dead. It is an anchor that keeps Hester imprisoned, but just as an anchor, it can be pulled away to open the gates, noting its duality, able to create and destroy within the very hands it is held by. It draws its strength from the blood of Pandora, who is said to have sacrificed their eternal life for this protection, and the shattered memories of Cressida, who have ambered and fossilized together around the red blood of their sister, whose identity was fractured to hold the Reaper at bay. It is said that this old form of primordial magic was forged in a pool of blood magic, requiring the purest essence of their own lineage. With this sacrifice, they created this last sliver as a anchor, a thread. The remainder of this piece, was all blasted away in the last fight against the dark, the evil. This author doesn't believe in such nonsense, but they will write on what they have studied, and what they have studied is the last time this shard was noticed by the public, when the family of Amadeus allowed scholars to review it and study it. It seems so small and unassuming, holds immense power. It is not just a magical object, it is a living thing, pulsing with the soul and sacrifice of those who create it. This is why it's so dangerous. To wield the shard is to carry a fragment of the founders, as well as hold a key to the prison that holds Hester. It can bind or break the seals depending on the wielder's intent, by making them weaker or stronger. It can be a beacon of hope at the end, a last immense source of power that they can tap into. But again, it depends on the wielder. Yet the shard is not without its defenses. It is said to be hidden within the school grounds, the last we heard of it. Or the family still holds it, though we have no more notes from them, as the family has died out years and years ago. Wherever it is, this author hopes those who have pure intent are the ones to find it.
Well, big brain.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I was
Wow.
reading directly from the book in that way. Is there anything that you want me to explain in that? I was imagining the camera kind of panning over the book and kind of like it reading through that. Let me know if you want. Pretty much it listed that this stone was imbued with the blood of Pandora that took away the immortality that they had, and the way that it has like a crystal around it, like a geode, a red geode around it, symbolized the sacrifice of Cressida's memories, fossilized in this form. And so it is this very pure primordial magic item that has a lot of power, because it was used in this final, like, imagine this like amber that crystallized everything, like making this protection, and it's the last shard of it. However,
I imagine. Sorry, you go ahead.
However, because it's like the last shard, and it has a lot of this power, it can tip the scales. It can either let loose something or protect something, or be, it's an untapped magical source of something so old.
I imagine just Amelia, upon realization, is just like, her eyes just kind of widen, and she's like, and I just have this in my dresser right now? And she just like,
You do,
kinda, like,
and that's why I kept
it's-
asking, where are you guys holding this?
Guys, I think maybe we should move it and put it somewhere, not where my clothes are that I wear pretty constantly.
Had she read that passage out loud to the other two? Or
I imagine the
is she
camera kind of
just
pulling
saying
back from the shelves, and Amelia has the book and just like says, I shouldn't have kept this in my mind.
Exactly. Yeah, no, she's not saying
Okay.
anything out loud. She's just ADHD. I definitely shouldn't have this in my dresser.
And then just slams the book down on the table.
Cora at that moment had been walking back towards them anyway, and just kind of sees Amelia freaking out a little bit, and she cock eyebrows, say, what's the matter?
That shard that we have that's sitting in my dresser, it's really, really powerful, and who knows what it's gonna do, because it could just blow up at any minute, because why would they let students have that? Why is that in my room right now? And she just kind of like goes on into that little rant and ramble of like slightly freaking out about it being in the dresser and telling them what she read in the book.
So, Cora, in somewhat hushed tones at this point, realizing that they're discussing a very dangerous magical artifact, begins to just question, so what you're telling me is that you have what is equivalent to a magical bomb hidden in your dresser drawer.
Yeah, no big deal, huh? And just like the biggest gulp, the biggest audible gulp ever.
So, Odette. Odette.
Where do we move it?
here,
How do we move it? Where are we carrying it?
Hey, no,
It's
wait,
all up in my
Amelia.
hand.
Amelia, she's gonna put both of her hands on Amelia's face. Just hang on. You're freaking out. Take a breather for a second. Deep breath in. Let it out. Hang on. Hear me out. Why don't we try to find something in here for an evocation to possibly create a rune that could keep it protected and keep it inside something so you don't have to worry about it exploding.
Yeah, but it mentioned an etched box. Where's the etched box?
It probably got lost in the many of years that this thing has existed. We can try to find that box, but we should also maybe look up into something that maybe we can keep it sealed in for safety until we find the box.
Okay. And Amelia just goes back to trying to find literally anything about protection over this.
A ritual, an evocation, a rune, something that we could create that would keep it inside something.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of advanced magic in here, so it would be really hard to do for yourselves. But if Amelia goes back down to the general area, there should be protection, rituals, things like that, or anything like warding that you can easily find that is in your skill ability. Anything you find up here will be powerful for sure, but without also like you have to understand, like it's like putting a big lock on something. People are gonna notice, especially if the Ghoulies did it successfully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you want to do that in the restricted section, Amelia, and you want to look at something like that, you have to give me a check. But in the general one, easily done. You can have a protection ritual.
Do you want to go back and look at the easier stuff while me and Cora stay here and keep looking?
No, I think that we should just stay together for right now, and we'll try to. I mean, it's not blown up yet. We might as well just wait it out. I'll just stay in the restricted section and try to help you guys, and then we'll look on the way back through.
Okay.
Cora's just like face palming a little bit, and she's like, hasn't blown up yet. Girl, you just jinxed us.
Odette is gonna reach over and knock on the wood of one of the shelves. Just up. We're just gonna hope that keeps that from happening.
Is there a knock on? Is it a knock on wood thing a witch thing?
Oh, absolutely.
It is now.
Yeah, it's like a protect yourself. Like knock on wood.
Yeah, even if it's not, it is now.
Yeah, you feel like the wood responds back, okay, and just accepts that knock. And Odette, before we shift over from the library, you said you wanted to look about the seers, is that correct?
Yes, I wanted to look for seers, and then I wanted to look for something about Hester. But seers first.
Give me a brains check, please, on that first, on the seers.
I did roll a d10, but I don't remember what it was. So I got a 6.
You did roll it before, you said? Or what was that one more time?
I think I had rolled it before, but it had already disappeared off the thing. But a 6 is fine. I'll take it. I don't care.
What are you looking for about seers?
Mainly just like the basic knowledge of them, and like explaining like why, and maybe like origins, you know, like seers for dummies. But we're in
you
the
could find
restricted
this in the
section,
general
so.
section if you know, like this area would have like more advanced, more restricted levels of information. So is there something in that level that Odette wants to know? Because I can easily get you a couple of books in the general areas.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a way that it would make it more complicated.
Like practices or things that like advanced seers do?
Yeah, I would be down for that.
You have a 6. So that's kind of hard to find in this area. I will say that it's not like a failure. It's more just you're searching in like a certain part of the library that has a lot of like information, and you're not really finding the title or the book that you need. So a couple of books, things that you've that have like historical information, has like some things that are saying like seers born with the gift of prophecy are able to tap into the threads of fate. There are many calculations that can be done about the future, but seers are able to just see into it, see exactly the details they need without having to do the long calculations that diviners do. You know the word diviners. That is literally what Professor Brockwell majored in. The gift of a seer is not learned but inherited. It is an inherited power that goes through bloodlines, family lines, and in rare cases granted by divine or cosmic forces. Their origins are in every magical society, as illusionary magic, evocation magic, all play a role into seeing a glimpse into the future. The price of this site has always been heavy. Many seers come from powerful lines, and many children may not have the ability. Some of them live solitary lives plagued by visions they cannot escape, and some of them have only a tap into the ability, depending on the strength of the magical ability they inherited or the practiced ability that they have practiced. Yeah, the book is saying better words than that.
I got you.
Let's see. They have like a couple of other books. They're really heavy, and if pretty much that kind of air that like if Rania wouldn't find this interesting, you wouldn't kind of energy, but it's like they just talk a lot, and they talk about the nature of prophecy, how divination is an old form of magic. You can see that seers have always existed. They're just very, since it's not something that somebody can control or capitalize from easily, seers were always seen as like take it with a grain of salt. And so if they are known and are big like your grandmother is or your family is, when a seer has a vision or something happening, people take notice. People have information on that. They want to know, oh my God, they had a vision. The newspapers tell the people, right? But if it's a person who doesn't have like a good enough ability to tap into it as easily, they're kind of estranged from the community. They're not like excommunicated in any way. They're just like, you know, it's like when you see like a fortune teller on the side of the road. You know, you can pay the $5, but you don't know if it's true or not, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like how seers are seen in this world. And advanced seers who are also diviners who studied and majored in it, like Professor Brackwell, who isn't a seer, but they do it through calculations, magic, and like scrying, divining and calculating over and over the different threads and the possibilities on what could happen. They are able to they're able to say like which one is more possible. But because their magic is less like ooh and more scientific, people see them more as like nerds, like, oh my God, what possibility is it? You know, they're not fully seeing into the future. They're kind of calculating what's the best possible future.
All right.
Okay, that's just, I'm so sorry. I'm like giving you guys so much information, but I want you guys to know you guys are in the library.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
I came with the information. Okay. Practices of advanced seers. Advanced seers do lots of meditation and runic like tattooing all around their body to help them meditate into their power. For those who are like naturally seers, this is a scary thing to do, but it helps to get them into that lulled state to kind of tap into it and see into the future. Just like you did during that dinner party. If you're practiced well enough, some advanced seers are able to fully immerse into their vision and astral drift. So they can like disconnect from their physical self and walk the astral plane and see where all the possibilities intersect. Some like advanced seers, they protect themselves from like their sight, and they cast like vision wards by tattooing their foreheads with like a third eye or like a symbol like of psionic magic, and they kind of shield themselves from like intrusive or dangerous visions, especially when there's heightened magic or the world there's like stuff and affecting how much magic is in the air, like an astral convergence. And another possibility that advanced seers do is like time weaving. They try to influence the thread of fates. These people are not really known. In the restricted section, if you're looking in here, that's why they're in here. Because they're the ones who trying to do stuff and probably succeeded, probably didn't. If somebody changed the world or changed time, would you actually know about it? Because time would be rewritten, right? So it's kind of what the story is saying in that book. It's controversial because everyone says you shouldn't change the future. and those who said that they have, nobody believes them. But it is like an advanced form of a seer who can thread fate itself. Those are things that you would find in a restrictor section.
What was the name of that one again? Not the
all
book,
three-
but the type of seer.
all the
last
type of
one.
seers.
Yeah, what was that last one you said?
Time weaving. That's the
Time
form
weaving,
of magic.
okay.
Yeah. Imagine like those weaving boards that are like that, and they like move it. Yeah, like that is what I'm envisioning. The other ones were vision wards and astral drifting.
Okay, thank you. The only other thing that I would like to look for is the stuff about Hester.
You find the same books that you found before, those tomes that have all the letters all around it that kind of have like H-E, the like an is it an encyclopedia? No.
Yeah, where it's got like a letter on each one.
Yeah. God, Shani, the memes are killing me. I just saw it again. Anyway, 0 days without going into the restrictor section. Y'all, we have a live stream chat. You should see it. It's ridiculous. Because I'm posting all the stuff from there into there, and it's too good. The Pandoric Cressida one. Okay, so we're gonna quickly do this, and I want to make sure I get what you want. So you see the information about Hester. There's not a lot about that are not poetry and story, prophecy, and like just riddles. There's not a lot about what it is. Anybody who's researched it is hearing it from someone from ages long ago, and literally, like, what you can understand is the only people who really knew what this are the two sisters. That everything else is just a story and a prophecy that at a certain time this is going to happen. That this is a magical
any of them sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. Do any of them say anything, even if it's in poem form or story form, about weaknesses?
Oh.
Stuff that maybe Hester is weak to, or stuff like in his, like, for what is known, things that like may do something or help against him.
It lists a lot of information about how people are attracted to that kind of power. And you kind of know that from the demon that Glenn appeared to that class. People are attracted to that kind of power, especially the demonic realm. Weaknesses, right now, they are trapped. And if they were released, it would be disastrous, right? Weaknesses to what they, even in poem form, I have to think of a poem.
Sorry to like drop this on you like this.
You guys are fine. This is great. Fully like need to write these down, and I want you guys, give you information. I'm gonna try to get a rhyming generator real quick.
Okay.
We're gonna say the shadow's price. In shadows deep where whispers lie, Hester stirs beneath the sky. Bound in dark by curse and vow, but there is a way unknown till now. His power grows when fear is near. A heart that trembles feeds his ear. Yet strength once sought from depths untold can falter fast when truth is told. And then it goes on like that for like 3 or 4.
Can I? Do you
there's
think you could
yeah,
send
I'll
that
write
into
it
the-
down. Yeah,
Okay.
let me write down his power. There's like the last few lines of it pretty much says, "A king of lies, he fears but one, the mirror bright, the honest sun. In hearts of those who will not bend," what rhymes with there lies power to meet his end. I have to remember that for later for myself. Okay, that's what the prose says, but the poem says. All of you all, like, take your books. Is there anything else you want to go before you go back to your rooms?
I want to open the origami for all 5 of us before we go into our rooms.
Right. I will say, like, Rania and Quinn were kind of at the table putting all the notes and hearing from Amelia at this time. So all of you see Rania and everyone just like taking notes of everything that you have said. And as you are all walking back through the halls of...
Sorry, before we go, Amelia was supposed to get a protection.
Yeah, easily done.
Thing.
You have a
Okay.
you have a book on protective wards. This is like a 101 protection wards, sigils, rituals, and it varies from strength. You can put like a ward in an area, and then it casts like a bubble, or different kinds of things. Like if you want to make one for your like tattooing for your hands, and then kind of cast like a shield. Like it has like different varying things in that book, Amelia. A couple of them talk about like you can put like etch something on the floor of something, and it could protect like a little bubble. Is that good?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. When you guys walk back to the rooms, the letter says, as you unfold in front of everybody, and Ronnie is kind of like, what does it say? And Quinn's asking, what does it say? It's unknown language, not handwriting. But the air of it is familiar to you, Odette, because you stared at his face that one night, like weeks ago. It pretty much says, "I have not forgotten. And I hope you would tell me one day. What answers did you find?"
Is Odette the one holding this and like reading it aloud?
Yeah, you're the one who opened it, yeah.
Okay. She's gonna read that to everybody. Not like loud, but quietly to the group. But she's just gonna sit there and kind of furrow her eyebrows and just keep, like you can see her eyes just continually reading through it, like.
Rania and Quinn, they kind of like look to each other and look to all of y'all, and they at least Rania rolls her eyes and just like, well, at least we know he's not that busy. And Quinn mutters to you all like in a whisper, like, doesn't he have anything else to do, like securing the school? I'm trying to do Quinn's voice, and I hope I did well.
I like it.
Pretty much alluding that this is from Arendor.
Yeah. After a while, Odette's gonna fold it back up and she's gonna put it in her bag. It's gonna go beside the note from her dad, too. And probably also the one that she didn't finish before they got into their escapades.
Great. Do you want to quickly send anything? What do you guys want to do before, what do you guys want to do right now, really quick? Anything to wrap anything up?
Odette's just gonna write back her dad and be like, I don't need anything. I'm happy to see you later this week. I'm gonna try to get with Professor Brackwell. I love you. Be safe. And she's just gonna send that off to her dad. Amelia, do you want to go try to do the protection spell really quick?
Yeah, sure. That sounds great. Mainly the bomb in my dresser. Yeah.
Or would you like to help with that?
Cora would absolutely like to help them not blow up the school. She had just been distracted by the message from Arendor, just utterly and completely bewildered by it. But as they're making their decision to go take care of that, she would follow quickly behind them.
Yeah, back in your rooms, you see Rania kind of like preparing around the room. And there's a couple students in there. Nolan is in there putting on some makeup, and you see them kind of like trim up like hair on their sides of their face. And they see you come in like, oh, I thought you were Ethan. Thank God.
Did you want it to be Ethan?
No, I don't want
Do
it to be any of them.
Oh, okay. Are you okay? Are you good?
Yeah, I just, if they see me with hair on my face, they're gonna, I don't know, say something, so I thought it was gonna be them.
Who's gonna
Why
say
would-
something?
Why would
Who's
they say
gonna
something?
say something?
They wouldn't, no, they wouldn't say anything, but I just
Yeah.
feel weird about it.
Not in front of me, they wouldn't.
Don't feel weird
They-
about it. It's a natural thing.
They,
It happens.
once they like have, when they started the year till now, they have like changed their pronouns, and you see them like wearing more makeup and kind of grabbing things from like the village area, like for more femme presenting like clothes. So then they're like taking off the sides, so they're like, okay, I just, the makeup's all pilling, and no matter how much I try, it gets in all the hair. So I've been trying to like shave it off, and they're kind of doing that while Rania is kind of going to Amelia's bed, and Quinn is like, you can see Quinn kind of like standing next to them and helping them like in the mirror, like to like fix up the makeup that was like pilling, and you can see Rania like coughing in the back, just like, let's try to like get everybody out. You see them like sitting on Amelia's bed, just like waiting, like, oh no.
Odette's also gonna help them. She's gonna like walk over and be like, okay, when you use the razor, flip it over, because then it's only got one blade and it won't hurt as bad if you nick yourself. That's what I use when I want to put my makeup on. So like, you use the back of it instead of the front of it.
And when you're done, you just make sure that you're using a lot of moisturizer, because that will also help with the pilling, as it could also be just drier skin underneath all
Absolutely.
underneath the hair. So if you moisturize it, then it'll stick better.
Oh, Liz said that I had dry skin, so she got me this from the village, and she like has a like container of like face cream and stuff for like dry skin, but they kind of like take something, wipe off the bottom parts where there's makeup, and start over the process, and they kind of slowly do it while you all are watching, and they finish up like the one side that they were on, still kind of peeking to make sure like nobody else is coming into the room.
Odette's also gonna reach over and grab the setting spray and like scoot it towards them for when they're done. Put this on too afterwards, and then you dab your little makeup blender all over your face, and it makes everything stick a
That's
little bit better
squishy thing?
too. Yes, you gotta wet it down. Don't let it be soaked, just damp.
think it's damp. Okay.
You
And
got
then you
this.
see like a couple of splotches. Like, is it blended?
She's gonna like grab it and kind of dab a little bit down and like drag it down their neck a little bit so that it like matches. Because nobody deserves to have the non-matching neck. I don't care how old they are.
It's true.
Just make sure that you're really
That
good
was
about
my-
blending it around your ears and your neck.
Oh, okay. What if it gets on the earrings?
You just wipe it off.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
you see they're like clip-on earrings and they like put them back on. Nolan's hair has been growing out in the last couple of months. So it used to be like shortcut, like red hair that's like right at the bottom, like here, from the nape of their neck. Is that the word? And now it's like kind of dancing on their shoulders, like almost fluttering around their shoulders. Yeah, a bob. Thank you. And their bangs have like grown out. And even their eyebrows have grown out, so they're kind of like trimming everything from very like mass presenting eyebrows to like very very clean, and they put like a barrette in their hair for their like red hair is like clipped back in this barrette that's like pink and purple, and they have like a wings of a little butterfly.
Well, that's freaking cute.
I was just about to say, like, that sounds so cute. I can't stand it.
Sorry, I saw Shawnee's post. I was like, dead. People rude to Nolan, the ghoulie. Yeah, they finish up and they're in their like room, so you see the curtain like kind of opened a little bit, and they're finishing up. But when Quinn like helps with the setting, everything, Quinn just like, well, are you hanging out here long? And Nolan's like, no, just trying to finish this, and I'm going to read a little bit. I want to just be a little alone. And they finish up what they have. They're like either doing their nails or something. They're in their room, so their curtain is up. Do you all still want to do that ritual?
I'm down. As long as we have all the curtains closed and like we try to be kind of quiet about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't really have a choice. We have to do it, because if we don't, there's still the chance that it explodes, and I don't think any of us wants it to explode.
This feels like the SpongeBob episode where all the burgers are bombs.
Yep, that's pretty much what this is.
Wait, then I will say outside, you just have to all give me a flight check or say something to Nolan that like gets you out of her room without like, why are they all like getting out of here? You know what I mean? Like, give me something.
Hey Nolan, we're all gonna go back into the room so that we can practice all our rituals and stuff for the next class. We just didn't want you to think that we were just all dipping on you. We just wanted to go do it because we didn't do very good last time.
Okay. Give me a armor flight check.
As Odette would have said that, Amelia would have just been like behind her, nodding her head.
18.
But we should be done in like an hour or so. So if you need any more help with your makeup or anything like that, by all means,
come let us
feel
know.
free
Yeah.
to get us.
Okay. Can I sleep with this?
You shouldn't sleep with your makeup on. That's not good for your skin.
Okay. I'll take a nap after then. And they kind of finish their nails, fully convinced with that 18. Dang. They rolled a 4, but hey. Yeah, you're at the bed. You see Rania pull out a couple of candles. And Amelia, you have the book. The book pretty much says build out a ritual circle that has the sigils for either illusion, magic, evocation or ritualistic sigils. You know all these sigils, you've learned them, but it depends on what kind of protection spell you're like envisioning as you put those sigils down. Like you're pretty much putting a language, right? Like a contract on the ground. What are you envisioning for this protection spell to do? Or word?
To keep the shard inside, and any sort of like reactions or any sort of power that we can feel coming off of it, to keep it like confined into a smaller area.
And probably also something to make it illusion so that people don't just find a wad of your blankets and start.
No, I'm kind of
unwinding it.
weird. That makes sense for me.
I'm kind of weird. That makes sense for me. Okay, Amelia. I love it. So if something were to happen with that, it would be encased in that. So your bed would, like, something would happen to your bed.
Dresser. It's fine. I don't need clothes.
Like
I can be the weird naked.
Is that
kid.
what you're envisioning? Like this bubble that kind of, if something were happened?
Yeah, where if it were to go off, it would just be like
Oh, okay.
a marble, and then it would like,
Yeah, so it's not really like a thing to protect other people to see it. It's more to protect this, like a bomb. Got it.
I'm hoping to do two. I would like to do one to keep it like protected from going off, and I'd like to do another one to conceal that it's hidden there if possible. Maybe with like runes on the dresser drawer that it's hidden in.
Well, imagine this ritual circle that goes around and you're drawing it in chalk. All the sigils can say that. You're pretty much making a long sentence, like a protective bubble that also makes people not see it. You know, like that's a horrible way for that sigil to be written.
Protect and
Like a brain check?
Protect and unseen. Yeah, brain. Since all of you are helping with this, and I need to pull up their sheets really quickly. Cora, if there's something that you would like to roll for that to help, I'll do like a group roll. Or Amelia, you could do this with your familiar with Nyx, or like, you know, like there's variations that you could do this. You can be the witches 3 or like your familiars. How would you like to do that?
Are Rania and Quinn here with us now?
Mm-hmm.
From the other side.
Rania was sitting on the bed. They have the candles, and Quinn is there. Like, what do I do?
I imagine that Amelia and Rania would be the one drawing out the runes and the like circle to put around it. And then all 5 of the girls would hopefully be like working to like pull the magic and like really ensure that it's straight. Obviously, how else do you cast a ritual circle with friends?
Your bed is the curtains are up, and when the curtains came up, like it's your room, it's your dormitory, and you see Rania had done one side of the circle, handed off the chalk to Quinn underneath the bed to finish off the circle. They've lit 4 candles on either side. They've all of you finished the sigils on there, and all witches with your hands grasp. You want to do what you did, brains, right, to understand it, or what would you roll that for?
Good point. I rolled brains to know what exactly like evocation and ritual we would be like using and putting on the floor to best provide protection against it.
Yeah, you notice the book says a couple different ones, and the runes that you need are, you want to make an illusion, one, to protect people from like seeing it, like a warping effect, maybe like whatever emanating from it you're trying to like, right? But
yeah,
it should be not just an illusion, it should actually be an enclosed area. So the sigil markings on the bottom of your floor pretty much form like this circumference around and like make a powerful protection. So easily done with that with that roll. Everyone pretty much with the help from Amelia, Cora, you see Amelia like pointing to this sigil in the book. You go to the right pages. Odette, you see, no, draw it with this inflex. It's not a 7, it's more like a curved 7. And everyone's finished. I will need a group check though. So this is to utter the phrase, for the ritual, everything together. I don't know Quinn's thing, so let me find that really quick, and then we'll go to break and go to the next stuff, okay?
Okay.
So what are we rolling?
No.
Quinn's- What? D12? Thank you. Okay, I have a D12 for Quinn, thank God. And then Rania's is... Quinn's D12 is brains. Okay. Rania's D20. Okay, the book has a couple things that you need. You need a mirror, you need salt, you need candles, and you need something protective from each of you. So what would you guys like to put in like your area of the symbol to protect this area?
Should it be something that we use all the time so that it has the most of our essence?
It could be anything that you... anything. It could be like Quinn would... You see Quinn put down a strip of denim. It's strong, and they're envisioning that the spell be like as strong like that. It could be any material or item or plant or coin.
Amelia grabs a dried flower from her shelf from the winter wood and puts down.
Odette would put her big scrunchie, because she imagines it like, because it's a scrunchie, you can't overstretch it, so wanting to keep it very elastic, and so if something happens, it'll move with what's happening in the spell.
Cora would grab a stick. It's not just any stick, just for the record. She grabs a stick from the oldest, grandest tree on her family's estate to kind of strengthen the spell and its foundation so it holds firm for as long as they need it to.
I don't feel like there's a lot of those sticks around. Are you sure?
Oh yeah, no, this is important. So she's absolutely going to use that.
I'm
Great.
dying. I took a drink of water right as you said the stick, and now I'm dying.
I know. You see Rania kind of go into her hair, and like a Sid from the windowsill being so mad that she's going into the nest, and pull out like a couple of coins, but it has like etchings around. It's very old, and she's like, this is made of iron, so this should be good to protect. Did Amelia put anything in, or am I just blinking?
She put the pressed flower from the winter
That's
wood.
true.
From her winter
Thank
wood,
you.
because that's
Thank
where
you.
she's from. That's her where her core and her magic come from.
Okay, so Amelia, you know this from the book. It said the leader of the ritual should dip their fingers into the salt and anoint the edges of the mirror. So pretty much you're like using the mirror to be like a reflectory bubble that goes around, and then you are pretty much making like a circle. And then there are these words that everyone has to say together. So you guys take it away. You like with that brains check, I think you're good for this ritual. It's a pretty simple ritual, so I'll post in
Somebody
the other
count
one
us
too.
down?
Well, you're the leader of the ritual, Amelia.
Oh, just
As
Amelia?
you-
Okay.
Well, no,
I thought
sorry.
you said
the
all
leader
of
the-
us. I was like, oh god.
No, you're right. It is everyone has to say the words because you're all imbuing the power together. But Amelia is a leader of it, so they can count you down because they have to like anoint the mirror.
Gotcha.
Amelia?
Oh, sorry.
dead.
My dogs were going crazy for a second. Amelia would dip her fingers in the salt and start making circles around the mirror. By light and shadow, I call to thee.
Everyone together. Like the power,
yeah,
you see it like
yeah,
start from your
yeah.
edge, your flame kind of goes light, but without everyone else.
So she would say like the first line and notice that none of them were saying it with her and like look to them and give them like, you know, like the like what are you doing hands with like the join in eyes. And then go back to tracing circles in the mirror. By light and shadow, I call to thee. Protect us now, so we may see shadows rise, but light stands tall. By ancient bond, we shall not fall. The veil grows thin.
The
hour draws late. Protect this circle. Seal our fate.
The magic circle kind of ripples for a second. You hear a little wisp of power kind of start, but the spell isn't coming through. Laura, did you want to say this as well?
She would probably, oh man, but we need all the help we can get. Yeah, she would say it. Do you want me to say it now, or just pretend that she did?
Yeah, let's redo this. So Rania is like, let's Amelia count us down, and then we can do it all together.
3, 2,
knowing
1,
that,
and then go.
Yeah. Also, hello, Raiders. We're doing a magic spell, so welcome to the witches.
Yeah. I just thought that saying 3, 2, 1 was a little less magical than jumping into it, but you're right.
We're kids.
Hey, you're kids. Do whatever. Be like, ready, set, go. Do whatever.
Okay, ready. We're going. Okay, go. By light and shadow,
I call
to thee.
Protect us now, so we may see. Shadows rise,
but light stands
tall. By ancient bond, we shall not fall. The veil grows thin. The hour draws late. Protect this circle. Seal our fate.
The orb of light starts emanating around you all. Starlight, beacons from the candles start emanating around you, interspersed between you all, between Amelia, Cora, Odette, Quinn, and Rania, before it encircles your bed, Amelia. You feel that pulsating of the Emberstone shard that you've hidden kind of shrink down. You don't feel it anymore. But that means that the spell was cast correctly. You have successfully warded your bed from danger from this shard, and you have all successfully completed a protection ritual. So all of you can put that in your books as something that you have practiced very well and understand to do. Next time when you want a protection ward, you know you need something reflectory, a couple of lights, a little bit of salt, and a little chant. And that's where we'll go to a quick break because the ghoulies were so cute and synced it all up. I loved it. Look at these witches. Y'all, thank you so much for the raid. Glow, how are you? Bessie, thank you so much for the raid. Real witches do real things. We are going to do a quick break so we can get some water and stand up, and then we'll come back to session 15 of our Dark Recess game. Does that sound, Ghoulies? How do y'all feel about the magic ward? How'd y'all do? I thought y'all did great.
I'm so proud of us. Look at us doing big witch things.
Doing big witch things over here. So proud. We will be right back. Also, I've added more fan art stuff to the Be Right Back scene, as well as Shawnee's insanely beautiful scrapbook art stuff for all the characters that you all need to see and I need to have hanging on my walls. So, enjoy. as the ghoulies finish up this ritual, Rania sorry, I hear an echo for myself. Is that me? Anyway, Rania cleans up the ritual circle. Quinn is going around blowing out the candles. Amelia, there's like a tray of salt to clean up and the water on the mirror. And as you're cleaning up, you see the etching has now kind of blended in with the wood underneath your bed. It is there. It's almost, if you look at it in a right way, it looks like it disappears into the wood. But because you are one of the casters who've made this spell, you can see it. Like the illusion breaks a little bit for you and you can see the spell around it. But then as soon as you move with the grain of the wood, it disappears. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Quinn kind of shakes off the salt that was on the ground and looks at everyone and says, well, now that that's done, do we want to get a game of cards in?
Cora
I'm down.
would be kind of curious. What type of cards? Like Texas Hold'em, blackjack, like insert a lot of different card game names here, and she's just like listing off any potential card games because
Go Fish, Uno.
yeah,
And
exactly.
Quinn's like, I don't know that one. I think I know that one. You have to teach me this one. And they're kind of going back and forth as you're listing it. Or you can see Rania go into her room. The curtains close up and the scratching of a quill on paper, especially with your ears and how close you are to her bed. Since Valtoris and Vild are close in last names, you're near her bed and Amelia's near Rania's bed. The scratching stops. She comes out and she says, if I'm going to pick up any cards, I say we make it interesting. And she has like these special treats from her mom that are like these cupcakes with sandwich cupcakes with like icing in the middle, and then have like little bows. And she pulls out a couple of them and said, are you ready to wager? And Quinn just says, and goes to her bed, pulls out this like tray under her bed, and you see like the last package from the queen, and she says, oh, I'm ready to wager. And Rania and Quinn kind of walk out to the outdoor like seating area where all the kids kind of hang out, where you all were before, on a couch just lounging, saying you're bored.
Cora would then sort of take this opportunity. She's had some misgivings about the way that Rania has been keeping secrets from the Ghoulies for quite a while now. And just it had finally become her breaking point where she could no longer deny that something was up, and she wanted to make sure that everybody was going to be okay. And despite the fact that she does not typically like to do underhanded things, she would take this opportunity to kind of slip away from the group as they're heading into the common area and just say, I just gotta run to the bathroom, I'll be right back. And instead of heading to the common area, she would head into Rania's room and towards her like bed and stuff, and begin kind of snooping around to see if there was anything out of the ordinary in her space.
Does Amelia see this?
You can roll. And give me a flight check, Cora. To see how evasive you are.
Can I use some adversity tokens? Like, will my 2 whole adversity tokens make a difference here?
Yeah, if you what is it? If you use your 2.
I also have a small question. Can I help her, like, see that she's kind of, like, trying to hide something and, like, help try to pull our other ghoulies away from looking at her?
That's what I was gonna offer. If I seen her doing this, would be to help her.
Oh. Is this something that you all wanted to do? Or is like you just want to encourage your friends being sneaky?
Amelia is suspicious of hell, Zayden. Just sus all around. So if it's answers about that or anything, yeah, absolutely, Amelia's here to help. Aye, Captain, I'm on it.
Odette is also mostly
well, you
like,
guys don't
Cora
know
doesn't
that
do anything
they're doing
unless...
that, right?
Yeah.
You just see Cora being like, "Hey, I'm going to the bathroom," so you don't know if it's related to Zayden.
Yeah.
True.
My thought process was more along the lines of like Cora doesn't just go out of her way to do things. She always has a reason behind them. And so she's like, oh, if she's trying to hide something, it must be something pretty important. Like, I trust Cora to tell us what's going on when she feels it's the right time. You know what I mean? Because she doesn't do anything just willy-nilly. She's very...
Okay, then no checks needed. Pretty much the only check was if you were trying to figure out what she was doing, and then that's why Cora had to do a flight check to evade. Easily done. The only person in the room was Nolan. So I will say with a 6, you hear Nolan kind of shifting around in her room, and that might be of concern later. If you want to roll again to see how well you hide in that room, you can. But wait,
I mean, it's better.
It is. This is a different one. So imagine you like kind of came into the room and the curtains closed behind you and you hear Nolan like, what? Like, what's going on? And then you're looking around looking for things, right? So what exactly are you looking for?
She knows that Rania was scribbling on something. She heard the quill make contact with something. So she's mostly looking for maybe a handwritten note or maybe one of those paper cranes that she was going to send off to somebody else. Possibly a random book that maybe she was making notes in that could pertain to stuff that they have been trying to do research on themselves. Because, Rania would definitely be the type to do her own private research and then, after confirming her suspicions, then come to the group with it. So she's basically just looking for information. She's not entirely sure what form that information will take, but she's definitely like looking through books and pieces of paper and like drawers and stuff to kind of just see what there is to see.
Right. This could be Flight to do this very secretly, or Brains to kind of scan through the area with your like what would be the best places she would have this in her room.
Oops. Okay, how do I do that? Clear. Zach's only gonna try and roll 2d20, which, might work in my favor, maybe. Oh, come on.
What was it? A 6?
Nice. Yep, that was a whole 6 again. So, yeah, I'm definitely tempted to use those points for that roll, please and thank you.
Yeah. I will say that it gets you close enough where you're not finding it immediately, but you do find the stacks of notes that she does have from different books. She's taken out like extra 3 more books on your trip, and she's been to the library multiple times. So there's books that she's reading, hope to read, and have read, like stacked, and that can easily be seen. There are a couple of scribblings, and they're very neat. Like, they have the neatest handwriting out of all of you, and this is like her taking notes about everything that schoolwork wise, advanced schoolwork, and then extracurriculars, which is research. You find a note that states about the Valtora's family line, and she's detailed like a couple of generations back. But you see that she's matched it with another line on the notes. There's the Valtora's family line. You see her name all the way at the end with her sister and her brother's name. But then there's the Valtora's family line. And it's like blank spots, and you see scribbles that saying, what does this mean? Question mark, all the way at the end. That sees the Night Phoenix and their like different fledgling ravens that were given to each of the family members across time, because they've had that relationship forever, right? So you see them like her doing like Rania to Obsidian, Amryn to, like all the different ravens that the Night Phoenix has given to them. You see a couple X marks. The family line on the demonic realm has been dying out for who knows how long. And she's fully traced down from the books in the library and her own family history that the Valtoris line and the demonic realm is clearly, down to its last blood relatives. And you see a couple people in that lineage came from other sources. They're not like all under the Night Phoenix. You know from the demonic realm, demonology class, that people don't inherit the next like family by blood. It's through competition. So you see people like in that line that she's researched that have come into the Valtoris line competing. And it's really odd by the last few lines that there are no competitors around the Night Phoenix. It's only Night Phoenix. Obsidian is the only one with like a question mark. And Rania has written down, like, did she want to keep him so that he will be the heir? Like something like that sketched out.
Cora would make a mental note to remember the notes pertaining to the heir, because that part genuinely confuses her. And then she would just keep on looking.
Do you have any strengths related to this? Just want to make sure. Whoops. Was not supposed to.
So her backstory / past and stuff, given who her family is, just being super sneaky and finding things and taking things. I feel like she would have a strength in that department. Also, breaking in locks in case there was like a locked drawer or something.
I'll give you this. Romy. You give me another brains check. I'll make the DC 5.
Wow. These dice need to go to dice jail, like
They
right
do.
now.
They do. You don't find anything immediately. Nothing that your family could have helped in. You know she was scrawling on something. You know that there was a way that she was talking to Xaden. Those clues hint that there's something, and especially during the demonology exam, you know that there was, she was being suspicious, especially with the notebook. Can't find the notebook. You do, however, see scrap of paper with messy handwriting. And it's kind of pushed in, like in her bookcases, it's pushed as like a bookmark. And it's like crumpled, and she has really neat handwriting. You can see it from here that it is like messy. Like there's like even fingerprints from the ink still on it. And it's pushed in between books all the way at the end.
Cora would walk over to the bookshelf and attempt to reach up and grab the messy piece of paper.
It's like a bookmark in a book. So when you pull it out, the book that was in her bookshelf kind of moves for a sec, and you see like you hear a what's it called? Like a click happen, and a drawer on the other side kind of opens.
Oh yeah, so it's like a trap mechanism.
The scrawlings on the paper are questions that she's written. It's all messy. There's fingerprints, like she's probably scratching over it, trying to fix the sentence to be clear, to be right? She said that in the forest. You have to be careful. So you can see that in her writing. She's written, what role do you, Xaden, have in the convergence? What impact does the convergence have on us and the realm? Have similar instances happen like this? And then you see her cross out that one and redo it. What was the outcome? Is there anything we can do to prevent it or lessen the effects of what is to come? And then all the way at the bottom, you see her write something that she really wants to know, but she just keeps it because it's like maybe not that important. She says like, what role does my meeting you have to do with this? And those are just questions that she has. Because she's put the word or the name Xaden, you know that these are meant for Xaden.
Cora would read over the piece of paper carefully before moving to the drawer that had popped open. And what would she see in the drawer?
You see a tome, a very old tome, one of the books that she's probably reading right now, and it has like a bookmark in it, and a very plain notebook.
Cora would start by picking up the tome.
You start with what? I'm sorry.
Cora would start by picking up the tome first.
Did you want to like peruse it or go straight to the bookmark?
Probably straight to the bookmark.
It looks like an old form, like advanced magic, just like the protection wards that Amelia had brought in from the library. But because of your recent adventures with like shadow magic and shadow beings, it has like, it's like a tome of shadow wards and things like that. There is a excerpt here that says like of a spell that's it starts off with what the spell is, but then it disappears. Give me you can instantly see this as like illusionary magic. Give me, I feel like You can cast magic to take it away, or you can do something like brains or flight to kind of see if you can figure it out.
Cora would attempt to use a spell to remove the illusionary magic. She would essentially, the spell would kind of take the form of like a magical eraser. So she'd kind of like conjure this little this little thing that erases magic off of an item.
Simple. I love that. I think that's perfect flight check. That's it. A simple, really low DC too. That's really good. Was that a?
That is an 11.
The writing comes back to life, and you see the whatever was on here was probably not from Rania's hand. It was probably something in the book. Maybe she hasn't come to this page, she just noted it for later, but this was not made by Rania. It was just on this tome. You find a spell that is called the Whispering Thread. And as you do that, this like the book kind of shows this tape that kind of reflects in the light. It is a way to make it look. Let me see if I can show it on alchemy. It has a word to it, and you can quickly write this down. And practically a dance. It looks like you're kind of stirring while in two different directions with your wand and your hand over your body. And it allows the caster to move unnoticed by enemies or slip through unnoticed, pretty much blending the caster into the shadows for up to 10 minutes. And they show like a little animation, or not an animation, like a magical picture kind of cast them around like to stirring. And the words obscura.
Okay, so obscura, and once again she would just kind of make a mental note of what she has seen, and then replace the tome in the drawer and pick up the notebook.
Having seen that and broken through that, like that illusion, you now are able to cast that spell. It might not be great, like you have to practice it, but you know that how to do that spell, and that picture as it shows, you know how exactly how to do it for any use that you might want, or if you need it. So note that for later. You wanted to look at anything else in the drawer, right?
Yeah, we're gonna pick up the notebook.
Empty notebook, clean pages, practically no writing in it. But it feels like, you know, when you see a paper that's been written on underneath the paper, and there's like a little, yeah. It looks like there has been writing on it, but where the words are, where the ink is, nowhere.
Can she... I'm curious if there is a spell that she could use to kind of fill in the indents enough to read what was written rather than, like similar to like when you put a piece of paper and then use a piece of, or like a pencil or something, and you rub the graphite on it to kind of pull up the words that were written on there before.
Yeah, there's an ink bottle nearby. You can use that if you wish to like dropper it yourself or magic it.
Oh yeah, no,
totally
she's
can do
definitely
it,
gonna
yeah.
magic it. She doesn't have enough time to handwrite all of what was written. So she is going to the spell is going to be she picks up, or like the vial of ink that you said that she saw, she would go over there and dip her pinky finger into the inkwell, and then lightly touch the corner of one of the pages and mumble under her breath some kind of incantation, and the ink would kind of just spread through all the words, as if almost the ink had taken on a life of its own.
Easily done. It sucks in the ink before it even fills in the gaps. And you see the last words that she wrote where, like, for a moment before it disappears, if, you see the words come up and it's like, we need to meet. I have questions. And, like, the last time they talked was, like, when 𝙀🙠 appeared at the game that you all had. The other things were, like, where are you? Where have you been? Or where Ronnie is asking where 𝙀🙠 is, and 𝙀🙠's either like answering. I'm trying to remember the other things that they said. It doesn't show you everything. Only the last few. It's just like they were planning to meet.
Cora would see this and realize that this book, though it seems to have had no writing in it, was actually very important and was being used as a communication device between Rania and 𝙀🙠. So she would quickly look around for a quill and once again dip back into the inkwell and begin writing, "Are you there?"
The ink disappears. 1 second, 2 second. Yes.
She would then write, "I have some questions."
Yes. Again.
What role do you, 𝙀🙠, have in the convergence?
Did you not wish to meet? It is a big question.
Not now. I am pressed for time. Need answers now.
I have no role. I don't think this is quite anything related to you, witchling. It is just a momentous time in this realm for great magic. And remember, I'm trying to run away and hide from the Night Phoenix, so not really something I care to be a part of. And the writing disappears once that last dot of the period comes out.
Do you know what impact the conversions will have on us and the realm?
Are we talking of the same thing? The time when the planets in your realm just are in a line? I am not sure. Unless you're talking about something else. It's a time when the realms, the world seems to feel like, 𝐌𝐀𐌐𐌊. All I know is it was a couple of weeks ago, and during the time when I met you, it just felt like pressure, like a door that is a little less locked between realms. So pressure, that's what I think of it as. And impact, I don't know if they're big, large, and you just see like ... and the text goes, if there is to be a large amount of magic, the best time to do it is the convergence. So what impact? Grand, but I don't know anyone who did magic during that time. I was just trying to run away. But you know that.
Okay. Have any similar instances to this happened like this in our realm before?
A convergence?
Yes.
I'm not from this realm, so I don't know, but it seems like a natural thing. It feels like I thought you were the smart one. Don't you have teachers? And you just see like him put like a smiley face and like a drag of a line, like and he's like finally answers, the door between realms, or the veil between realms. I feel like it happens multiple times a year. Has something big like this happened? It was way before my time, maybe thousands of years ago, and what do I know? There was a time when the realms wanted to close all the walls and have magic completely closed off because they were scared of something in your realm. And there was some protection that happened, and they succeeded, and now we all live la-di-da. That's all I remember. So yes, it probably happened before. Yeah, and you just see like ... like he's just
So I'm guessing because you weren't positive that it happened, you don't know what the outcome of that was.
Well, outcome. Are you calling? And he's usually used to talking to Rania, so you see him kind of being like coaxing around this. Well, you've seen also a demon from demonology, so you see him like coaxing around the subject. And he's like, but yes, from his script, he's pretty much doesn't know what the outcome was. If it happened a long time ago, it happened long before he could know what happened.
Cora would start to get a little bit frustrated at the lack of information that this supposed other student has. She'd ask one final question. Do you know of anything that we could do to prevent or lessens the effects of what is to come?
You see like a big pause, and then the text comes back. He's like, I'm confused. You are thinking I know more than... What is it that you are hoping to prevent?
Cora would be fighting herself internally because on the one hand, she very much wants to gain as much information as she can, but on the other hand, does not know of this person's intentions, or everything is too suspicious. And instead of finishing or finishing her thought, or continuing on with this line of questioning, she would quickly slam the notebook shut, shove it back in the drawer, close the drawer, put the bookmark back, and just kind of sit there for a moment, kind of absorbing what little information she was able to glean from that conversation.
The moment when you etched back, you see a couple of scribblings on it, and all the information you got from the library pretty much connects to the same thing. Like, the questions we're asking for the convergence, and you've learned that the convergence is like a natural phenomenon. If Zayden has like any information on it, it might not be the right question. So the last scribbling comes closed, and you close the book. Everything's closed and put away, and the paper you have with Rania's questions, you see that they're working on different things and figuring these things out. So there were a couple extra things on there. Was there anything else Cora wanted to ask Zayden before you left this room? Or were you completely like, I'm good?
Cora would not overplay her hand. She has and is just incredibly suspicious of Zayden, despite Rania's explanations, and seeing the notebook and knowing just some of the ways that he phrases things, and the fact that he would like call her a witchling and whatnot made her believe that she was playing with powers far beyond her understanding. So she would not want to let any sort of information slip by that would kind of tip Zayden off that he wasn't actually speaking to Rania, if she could pretend that she was Rania in that instance.
Gotcha. Okay. Cora, you're sitting in that room. Everything kind of closed. The book kind of closed. Zayden did answer. Like, you would have heard that like scritch before you closed everything. Was there anything else you want to do before you rejoin the ghoulies back into the other room?
Cora would take a once over in the room just to make sure that she didn't really leave any trace, and put everything back the way that it was when she came in. Just making sure that she's paying attention to detail of like the angles that things were sitting in, what was on top of what in the various piles of stuff. Making sure that the bookmark is hanging the way that it was when she found it, just not wanting to, again, give any suspicions that she was in this room looking for anything.
Easily done. This room, you literally stepped in, only touched a couple things. The information from the Tome of Shadows and that new spell. And even if it felt like you didn't get information, or at least clear answers, you know that whatever about the convergence, Zayden just doesn't know. Even if he's avoiding it or like traipsing around it, like that demon from the demonology class, sometimes like it's kind of obvious they're kind of just hiding under like knowledge or like words to say that they don't know something. Or if there are other questions, well, you like Ronnie was doing, maybe there just needs to be a different way to ask or a different question to ask. But you easily get out of that room and rejoin everyone who are playing cards in the other room. Back to all the ghoulies. You see Cora come in, sit down. Quinn's dealing cards, passing it around. A couple of snacks are in the center. Rania has like lost 2 or 3 like cupcakes, but gained 2 or 4 of the snacks or so. Was anyone who've lost a couple hands? Amelia, Odette, or won any hands?
Maz, just making sure that you saw the message in the KOB chat.
She was feeling sick.
Yeah.
She's gonna go lay down and see if it passes so she can come back.
Thank you. Odette.
I imagine that Odette is kind of just sitting back and watching, because I would assume that she may have like won one and then lost one and was like, nope, I'm not losing again.
The cards get dealt around, and I was going to switch to Amelia because I know they have to get off at 7. So, but Odette, your appointment is coming up. You've played a couple of hands, and you know that you're set to meet Professor Brackwell. Cora came back into the room. Is there anything that you want to do before you go to your appointment?
Odette's just gonna kind of look at Cora and like cock her head a little bit and like do the like, are you okay? Like just point at her and then do the okay symbol.
Cora would do great big grin and her iconic double thumbs up.
Odette's not entirely convinced, but she's gonna just shake her head like she accepts it and then just wait for her appointment.
One more time. Is that for me?
I was just saying that she's not gonna fully like believe Cora's answer, but like she's not gonna say anything, and she's just gonna like shake her head and then wait for her appointment with Professor Brackwell. Sorry.
Okay. Great. Quinn just hands out the cards, and let's see, they're teaching like a new game. Do you want to like play in this round, or just go ahead straight to the classroom?
I'm down either way.
What
Cora,
would
is
you
there a
like to
specific
do?
one that you like specifically? Would you like to play around, or would you rather us just go to?
No. We can just say that Cora was playing cards with them as they were going, or as she was going to the to her appointment.
I'm down for that. We can just skip the game and go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. You go straight to your arithmetic divination class. It is this hall of deep within the castle. There's like winding paths to it. The seer tower that your family knows of is there as well, like in the distance in the windows you can see them. When you come up onto the classroom, there's like four different chambers of like scrying towers, a messy chalkboard. Professor Brackwell sits at her desk at the top. She's muttering to herself, and there's like a little chime in the back. She's like, I know. And you know her of, she has like, her hair is cut short. She has like, whenever she has her hair grow out, it is like kinky coily, deep almond skin, tattoos all the way down her skull for like psionic and divination magic. And her face, she has like piercings down her ears and like what looks to be tattoos down her eyes and down to her neck, and she's playing with something in her hands. The chime comes up again, and she kind of looks to the door really quick and sees you. She's like, yeah, come in.
Hello.
Good morning.
She's gonna like walk in like awkwardly and just be like, is there anywhere specific you want me to sit?
Not in the classroom today, in my offices. That would be better.
Okay. She's just gonna follow Professor because she's so
she's
scared
talking
and
from
nervous.
the balcony where her offices is. Like, that's where she saw you from. So you go up the stairs and you come into this office. As you come into this office, there are a couple of things on the walls, pictures and portraits. You see like a smaller version of Professor Lilith Brackwell, like a child and a frailer old woman. There's another picture when she was much younger, and there's two other people in the picture. There are frames of like coloring photos or things like that, like little storybook, like little children pictures, pictures that little children would have drawn on the walls, like kind of framed. There is a large fountain of light, and you see sigil markings kind of going really fast, this almost so fast, and you see Professor Brackwell's eyes just calculating like 3, 4. And then as you see a whiz of a wing, and you see that is her bumblebee bat, her familiar, kind of whipping in between her hands like a yo-yo, just like as if there was a string attached to her familiar. It looks like she's doing like yo-yo tricks between them. Just, okay, 4 size. Nope. Transfer the 3 to the 4th power. Nope. We're going to do this and turn. And she spins the wheel around, and you see like 4 different kind of lights come out, threads that she's pulling and kind of weaving into each other, like sewing. She's like, no, that won't work. And then pinning it back to this, like imagine like a globe that is going around and calculating with all these sigils all over it. Well, let me fix this. Okay, so you, what is it? Where are my notes?
My dad said it would be best to come to talk to you about...
Yes, your father. Yes, I know your father. Yes, that would be great to help. What help?
I don't I don't really know how to explain it. Stuff has just been not right. Maybe helping me understand which is actually what is going to happen, or not, instead of not going to happen.
Give me something to start with, because that's too much. What is not working?
The visions.
Odette, Asteria is part of Seer family. Seer's visions. You are 14, you're young. Visions are difficult to maneuver. More information. I'm struggling to understand what you want me to help with.
Maybe something to understand them better?
Practice?
To work through them easier? Practice?
To work through them easier? And how can Miss Asteria, I here. And then she like pulls up a chair and she sits down, and you see the globe kind of turn from this big orb of light to like a central point, pretty much as if like shades went on it. And she like looks at you fully. She's not meeting your eyes, but she's kind of zipping around from like your ears to your eyebrows. But she is focused on you and says like, explain what you want to meet with me for then.
I figured that you know more about this kind of thing than I do, and I thought, I don't know, maybe you could give me something I could do to work on it, or do you have any, like, my brain is going blank. Like something I could do to practice to maybe make this easier instead of... Sorry, I've forgotten everything. My brain is blanking really bad right now.
Make what easier?
The visions and making sense of them.
Is that what you wish, to make sense of your visions? Visions usually with seers never really make sense, that you're just seeing a glimpse into the future. I'm sorry that I'm asking these questions, but there's so many things I could help you with. But I've received a letter from your father saying that you need help, but he himself doesn't understand what you wish. He said something of wishing you wanted to protect your friends, but as an academic, I am confused on how to best help you with that, because I would direct you to Professor Arcadia, who could teach you more combat and defense magic if that is what you want, because seeing ability is something else. So if you are struggling to understand it, that's normal, and that's okay to feel those things. Your father struggled when we were studying together. It is why I started learning more divining magic, so I can understand the complexity of it, and to prevent was important. But prevention, and then you should see her slow down and talk, like for the first time in probably a long time. She's like, seeing ability, you can practice it so that you can capture it easier next time. But you're still kind of just opening a window. You just see something. We can see the village growing and moving, but you don't know what the tavern people are doing, and you just see them walk from one store to the other. You don't know what's in their thoughts or what's going to happen next. You just glimpse. I can help you get practices to control it better, but I don't know.
That would be nice.
Then we can do that. Okay, let's start from there. Was that confusing, dear? Some people say that I talk in confusing terms. So I want to make sure.
I feel like everything about growing up is confusing, so I don't, it doesn't bother me.
That's, well, growing up should be confusing, but, well, it can be confusing, but it shouldn't, it shouldn't make you feel so, settled in it. And she, you see, she takes up, her bumblebee bat and, dips him in a, like, chalk, liquid chalk thing, and this tiny little bumblebee bat that's like the size of like a quarter almost, is covered in white chalk before she throws it onto the ground and Asterios, and whispers some runic like sigils around, and you see this warping light that go surrounding it, and she holds out her hand, even though it's like little shaking. Sit in the circle.
She's gonna take her hand and then follow where she wants her to sit.
As soon as you sit down, it feels like this sensory warp, like you're sinking into water, but like there is no water around you. You're just, all the sounds and voices become lulled. And Professor, when she talks, it feels a little like echoey and lulling you. Okay, one thing for every seer is to meditate, to transport yourself to a place of calm. What we're going to do is take a deep breath. What is it you would like to understand for your visions?
The meaning?
But visions don't have meaning. And you hear in her...
Go ahead.
You hear in her voice she doesn't understand, because she's still not... For her, she's like, you're seeing little glimpses, like you're not going to really get meanings. So she's like, that even though it's echoey and lulling, she's like, what?
Sometimes I get like two of the same thing, and it shows one thing happening that's not happening, and it shows one thing that is actually happening.
You are seeing a vision in time. Oh. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. So you are young, and your visions will take on the form that it needs to send it to you, because you are tapped in. So, like through your eyes, you're seeing something, but it's a vision just cast in front of you. That is... Well, that happens with young seers, so I was worried that there was something more. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to practice on meditation and lulling yourself to a state where you understand this calm. You're not having a vision currently, right?
No.
This calm is your center. And when you come back to center, this is your state of being. This is where you will know, that you are seeing what you want to see. When you have a vision, even if it is the wrong vision, or something feels wrong, how do I explain this? Have you ever had a dream and you knew you were dreaming inside your dream?
Yeah.
when you have a vision and you're questioning it, I would check on that and come to center. Make sure your grit is strong. And then you can, the better way to explain it is, the better your grit, the better you can discern from what is it you're seeing and what is actually occurring.
Okay.
But that takes a little bit of practice. So I will recommend doing this at least 5 minutes per day until you can do it for 10 minutes per week. That's my strict protocol. That's what I think your father did growing up, and probably what he would recommend to start. And that would address your first your question for me, which is to understand which and what is happening. Correct?
Yes.
Now, we're going to do this for 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back. And she's going to just work with Odette for the next 5 minutes, pretty much going in and out of symbols and sigils and all the ones that kind of like have, if she is ringing something to lull you into a calm, and just enjoy being at peace and safe in this like sigil circle. And she like writes it down on a piece of paper for you to do, and teaches you like how to do this ritual circle to just feel like you are in this like safe space, and this like quiet, and this spheric sounds kind of help you, pretty much like a sound room. After those 5 minutes, she like looks to you and just says, okay, you have the basics understood. We can come back here and we can continue doing this, and until I understand that you have a good, until I can see that you have a good understanding of your state of being and you're able to get to that calm, then we can try other things. But let's not jump to the next step until we have completed this one, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
What is it that, well, your father stated this, but I want to understand, is there something else with this that you wanted with our meetings?
I don't know. I feel like I have so many questions, but none of them are in a way that I can describe them.
What have you felt to want to come see me? Or for your father to come to send me a letter?
I just want to be able to protect my friends from things that are happening, and I just want to get better at controlling and seeing what's actually right in my visions. And that's what I kind of mostly just explained to him. There's just a lot of really scary things happening in the school right now.
Oh, yes, of course. That is why the school and staff is trying their best to protect the students of the school and make sure that everyone is well prepared. Professor Harkness and I understand that. At this point, she has like helped you up and are, you're sitting at the at her desk, and she has made like a tray of cookies and tea for everyone at the table, and she's pouring something really fast. And she puts down this little familiar, very tiny bumblebee bat, and it like paddles over to you. It is literally like could fit on your teaspoon.
Oh my god.
It is probably the most the calmest and slowest has been, even though Professor Lilith Brackwell is like kind of tapping on her fingers.
Can I reach out to offer a finger for a tiny bumblebee boop?
Yes. Literally, like, it feels leathery on the head and a little fluffy. It is so tiny that when your finger touches it, you practically like have its whole face.
Oh my god. She has
Literally like
this
this
is
tiny.
too cute.
I don't know if you can see it on
like-
the camera, but it's like this tiny.
Oh, I see you. I just imagine her like, you know when you see something that's just so cute that you want to scream and your eyes are watering? But you're also like, no, I have to be quiet. This is just, it's just a little animal. I don't want to scare it. She feels like she could explode, but she's doing her best to hold it in.
It's like it has these big black eyes and like these wispy little ears that look almost like moth wings. It's so fragile. I posted a picture of a bumblebee bat in the voice chat.
He's so cute.
Just a little nose, and literally on the tip of your fingers. You can pet it for sure. I think it's petting you more because it's like
That's
literally
fine.
all
I'll
over the
take
finger.
it.
Yeah. And it's just so tiny as like little hooks. But the fur that it has is white at the end, so you know this is a very well, not young, but not old either. It's a lot though cute it looks. It's definitely around the same age, or grew up with Professor Brackwell, because it definitely has these eyes of like just gazing at you. Like,
oh my god.
just beautiful
crying.
fortune
I'm
teller,
actually
like
crying.
orbs, like just. Asterios says you have beautiful eyes.
I love him. He's so cute.
He thanks you for your compliment. He says you are... What? No. You are safe here at Sissi. And you feel Asterios kind of hug your finger like a little tighter.
Odette's actually gonna start crying.
Wicked.
Like, she's gonna like little tears down her eyes. Like, what else are you supposed to do when a tiny little precious baby just looks at you and tells you you're safe? Oh yeah, she's like, it's like not aggressive crying, but it's like little tears just running down her face. She's like, thanks.
Professor Brackwell has a couple of different this appointment and the practice took a bit of time, and she's also taught you a couple given you a couple of books and started like going through this. So it's kind of going into your lunch, not your lunch, sorry, your probably into dinner. So she's ordered some couple of food to come up, or like something to keep you sated until you leave for like your class or dinner with the ghoulies. So she has with the tea, she has a couple of sandwiches, a couple of cookies. They look like to be like snickerdoodle cookies with like crystallized cinnamon and things. Then a tray of different types of sandwiches that look like with the crust cut off. And the glow behind her starts to like open, and the shade comes down and the light comes, and she gets back up into it and just starts calculating 9 to 20 to 20 to... Okay, that should be good for a good 30 more minutes. One more time, dear. We will meet continuously, and we can practice more often, but your father's letter said you wanted to protect. Is that what you wish to use your seer ability to do?
I think so.
What do you envision it showing you?
don't really know. I feel like if there's anything that I could use this ability for, it would be to help protect my friends anyway. So if I could just be a better seer or work through it better, maybe it would be easier to make sure that nobody gets hurt again.
Better is a word that I wouldn't use the word better. You are using your seer ability exactly how it's supposed to be, and you are sensitive. And she like taps like the like her forehead to indicate yours, because you are young and practice takes time. But your father and your grandmother and your grandmother and your grandmother, all for generations, has had this ability that taps into them because they are able to see. You are able to open a window and see a glimpse. Better. And that's when she sits down and she like drinks a little bit of her tea. And Asterios like climbs back onto her hand and she's playing with him in a ball of her hands and just says, do you know the Great Tower collapse of 1918?
I've heard a little bit about it, but I don't know the whole story.
It was long in your grandmother's time, before your grandmother found their partner and had your father. But when your grandmother was at the height of her ability, she was able to see very well. People would come from ages over to see what they would see. And granted, she was well practiced, right? So she was well practiced enough that she could get a glimpse into the future, and if it even connected to the person next to them, it didn't matter, because she was so grand, so powerful, and so beautiful at that age. It was just like celebrity. You were just so happy they were seeing something, and if it meant something, they would attach meaning to it. But it was at the height of the Asteria family, from what I remember, from when your father joined the school years after. But she saw something years ago. At the time, it was so wonderful because she was the only child, and I know you have 2 younger siblings, right? So when she was growing up, it was a lot of pressure for her to have the ability. But she did. She got it very young, and everyone was so impressed. She said she saw a vision of people running in a hall, very old hall, and people didn't understand. And she said it was going to be a very big calamity, very disastrous. The only clue she had in the image was a picture. There was a picture on the desk or a wall. She couldn't remember what it was, but the people who wrote it down was like, it's on the wall, of 180 kids. So that's what everyone did. Everyone was looking for a place with 180 kids and trying to prevent this disastrous thing from happening. And so that's what happened. For years afterwards, any schools, any areas, any parks, places could have up to 179 children. And that's what they did. They prevented it. Then there was 2 towers, of this grand castle. You don't know this place. It is an academic office institution that's like on the edges of a continent over, and there was it was a facility for working warlocks and witches, where it was just one of, an office building. And when it was the Great Tower, something was happening, and all the flame wardens were sent over because a blazing fire was going through, and the people they could save, they saved. But at this time, nobody looked for anything because there were no children in that building. And then she like pulls out like a book of like prophecies of the last century and stuff. It's this big tome, and you see in the page, you see your grandmother's name from years and years ago, and she just shows like, it's just that description of that image, like the picture of the 180 children. And Professor Brackwell said that's what they were looking for. You see, when they finished cleaning everything up, there was a flame warden there who didn't really hear the news or information. They weren't really into hearing about prophecies. They were a flame warden. They were there to just protect and defend against magical rituals that's gone bad. You know, magical fire is a dangerous thing to mess with, so flame wardens are there to protect and to save people from those disasters. But for some reason, this flame warden looked at or saw that picture that day and thought of he thought of his daughter. He had a daughter and a wife at home. Thought of his daughter who likes to write stories, like detailed, and literally filled his head with stories every time he came back from home. And he thought to himself there was more to that picture. And he dove back into the tower and found a room where almost half the warlocks and witches that worked in that tower were hiding out and couldn't hear. Nobody knew that is where they went to go hide out. And nobody understood what that prophecy meant. But this warlock, he knew he just heard. I doubt it ever clicked for him. He just realized when he looked at the photo and then back at the collapsed building, and he ran back in. 180 kids were saved that day when their parents came home. Everyone wants their parent to come home. And though it was your grandmother's vision that had everyone looking, it was the one warlock that didn't give up looking that really defended the people he wanted to see.
That's really cool.
It is. Your seeing ability is information, and take it as that. Practice enough if you wish to tap into it. And maybe it could give you information close enough to what you're asking for. But do not rely on it to prevent something from happening. The towers, the collapse still happened. Don't stop looking for a way to still save people. And then she goes to her drawer, pulls out something and puts it in your hand, which is like this broken piece of a necklace with a sun, red flames all throughout, and it kind of glitters in your hand before it dies out, possibly like in color, and around it the bronze has broken away. And it has etchings all on the side. She kind of puts in your hand, and she gives it to you to hold. She's just cast once per day. It has a protective charm on it. You are in danger.
Wow. Thank you. For giving me this. She's gonna just like look around on it, like look at all the details and like all the stuff on it.
It's broken bronze on the edge and black scrawling, like a scroll work on the around, and you can see at the center of it there's like a sigil marking and red flame sun for like a flame warden's insignia. You know this of something that they carry all at times. It's not like a great powerful spell, but it does help like a flame warden from like magical fire, and if someone's in that beam it could be cast like once a day.
Okay. She's gonna like kind of awkwardly scoot towards her professor and maybe like offer a small hug. She doesn't want to just hug because she doesn't know if this professor is okay with that, but she like doesn't know how to say thank you, and she feels really like awkward, and that's like her first response because like that's what she does with her family.
She kind of holds still as she takes the hug, and she just like looks to the side.
Thank you for your help. I appreciate it. And she's probably gonna like start getting her stuff ready to leave because she feels like she spent a lot of the professor's time already. It's like I'll keep practicing.
Good. We will pick this up again next week, and we will see if you've practiced well enough then.
Sounds good.
Good. And then she turns back to the globe that kind of warps open and the light emanates, and she just goes back 15 to 6 4 no, if they take this path, and they start like pinning again as you walk away.
Would you say that she's calibrating?
Yes.
Teehee.
And as she calibrates, that's where we'll end for today. I am going to quickly find somebody to raid, but I think my ghoulies are. Let me quickly. What's the word? Reintroduce? Represent?
Yeah. I can start since I usually go right after Amelia. I'm Paige. Hey Paige, �WTF, she, they, any. I had a really good time today. We got to do some fun stuff, and it was nice to look more into the seer abilities and like, you know, like do things the right way, since we just always be getting in trouble. It's not good for poor Cora's heart that we're always just doing crazy stuff.
No, it's really not. This academy is not for the faint of heart. Truly, it's
Absolutely not. And it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. It felt very like a very down to earth episode, and I liked it.
Yep.
I liked all the information dumping. I loved.
Oh, you guys did some
I
good
love
research.
learning things.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
We got some knowledge.
You guys got some answers.
All of the answers.
But I played Odette, she, they, Um, I had a good
Yeah.
time, and I'm excited to finish out this first year and like see where we go from here. And I hand it off.
Hand it off to me. Once again, it's a me. Hi, I'm Nay. I play our resident goblin, Cora. Both of us are she, her. Holy crap! Did we just get some heckin' lore today? I am so proud. Like, I know that it was like a
Loreville,
smaller
baby.
session and whatnot, but holy crap, that was excellent. Excellent lore. Loved it all the way around.
Alrighty, and I am going to read out to the Eldritch Scribe.
Oh,
get that
also
Scud
we
started.
had Shamas on
so we
earlier.
had-
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I was gonna
yeah.
toss that into Shamas on everything. She played Amelia. She had to leave a little early. She was feeling pretty sick. Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't mean to interrupt you. My mic cuts
No
out a lot.
worries. I was going to also do that as well as send off as for myself as well. But yes, Shawnee played by Shamazon, who plays Amelia here at the Magic Ghoulies. Yeah, we are down to the last 2 episodes, and we'll start up the casting for year 2 upcoming. So it's the perfect anthology series. So if it's not our Magic Ghoulies who join us, it will be wonderful people in this community who will be here for year 2, which will be awesome. We're going to be raiding into the Eldritch Scribe. They're on the episode 13 of Realm Hunters, and well, they're really awesome. So thank you all for hanging out with us. I'll be in the chat for the Eldritch Scribe, but I will see you guys in 2 weeks for Dark Recess, and the next episode of Blades in the Dark should be